Hey everyone, this is Jaleesa from Green Mable. Welcome back. I am so happy you are here. You could have been anywhere else on YouTube, but you're here and I thank you. In this video, we will talk about self-watering pots, what they are, the benefits, and how to use them. There are numerous types of pots that you can choose to use for your plants. You can use terracotta pots, you can use plastic, you can use nursery pots, which are also plastic. You can use self-watering pots, which are also plastic, but they have additional features and benefits of them. There's also decorative planters that you can use if you decide to use a nursery pot and use a more decorative planter on the outside. And a lot of times with those planters, they don't have pottage. They don't have drainage holes, but we are going to focus on the self-watering pots. Now, what exactly are they? Self-watering pots are types of plastic pots that can come in various sizes. You can find some in a 6-inch pot like this one. Here's an example of an 8-inch pot. And then I have an example of a 9.5-inch self-watering pot behind me. And they also come in 10 and 12-inch pots as well. Self-watering pots work well for indoor plants. They can be used outdoor as well, but I think that they work best for indoor plants. And in a few moments, I will explain why. Self-watering pots look a lot like regular plastic planters, but they have this bonus feature of this side spout. So when you take a planter apart, you notice the holes and ridges aligned on the underside of the planter. And then at the bottom, there is this small removable tray. So the benefit of these planters is that you can water your plant from the bottom. What's going to happen when you water your plant from the bottom like this is the capillary action is going to take place and the roots are going to receive the water from the bottom versus waiting on the water to trickle down from the top. Now you can still water your plants from the top. If you happen to water your plant too much, then what can happen is you can just gently tilt this over at the sink and allow the water to drain out of the side spout like so. This is just a feature that this planter has, this part that comes out on the side. Other plastic planters like this one, if you happen to water it too much, the water can come out of the bottom, but it just doesn't give you that option to water it from the bottom. So the difference between this one and this other one is that this one has the ability to get water from the bottom, whereas that one does not have the opening spout. Self-watering planters are excellent for plants that don't require water that often. And what perfect example could I give you than this snake plant? This is my Dracaena trifasciata moonshine. This one I do not water very often at all. This is a self-watering pot. In fact, this is one of my original plants. I've had this plant for about 5 years now. I've had this pot in this planter for 5 years as well. Since I potted it up into this size of a planter, it has not needed to be repotted ever since. It's done well in this planter. It's grown a lot in the 5 years that I've had it, which you would expect for a plant to grow a lot in 5 years anyway. So the planter works well for plants like this. I also have an aloe vera plant in my other self-watering planter. And here is this one. I've done quite a few videos featuring this plant, and I had this planter. I got this planter and this planter at the same time, but there was another plant that was in this pot, and what happened was instead of me keeping it in that pot, I put it in a different pot so that I could use the self-watering planter for this aloe vera. This planter works really well for the aloe vera because these leaves retain a lot of water, so I don't really have to water it that often. If I do want to water it, I can just water it from the bottom and allow the capillary action to take place the roots can receive the water, and that way the plant is not drowned. Because one of the #1 ways to kill a plant is overwatering. What'll happen if you use it for a plant that requires watering more regularly, then it's just best to water that plant from the top. Whereas these that don't require watering that often, you can just water them from these bottom spout right here. And here is an example of me watering this snake plant. How I water it, I take it over to the sink. I use my watering can and get right here in the spout and just gently pour the water in there, making sure that it gets all the way in before I start pouring the water. And then I take it out and the snake plant is watered. So I don't have to water this plant from the top. It maintains its moisture, its health, with me watering it from the bottom like this. So these are very beneficial planters for the Dracaena trifasciatas, the aloe veras. I also have this little cactus in one, but this one actually likes to keep its soil moist, so I may not end up using it for this one. But these types of planters work really well for snake plants and aloe veras or very large succulents. Some of my favorite plants, these two guys, are in self-watering pots. I love the benefits of self-watering planters. They are my favorite planters to place my plants in, and I highly recommend them. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give us a like and to subscribe for more updates. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Green Mable. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.